Benefits. Benefits are pretty important here at NeighborImpact. We took a survey earlier this year. There were 62 of you who responded to that survey. Thank you very much for your responses. They were incredibly helpful. And there were a series of meetings after that, and we tried to design a better benefits program that would meet the needs as identified by the employees and fill in the gaps. We've also been working throughout this year trying to fill in some little extra goodies we're going to tell you about today that we're adding to the program so that you can take advantage of them or not take advantage of them if they work for you, but things that just make it extra fun to work here. We have a number of vendors today. If you look across the end of the room, we have our folks from the health program and the dental program and the vision program and the life program. That's that table. You guys wave your hands around. There you go. See Beth over there behind the sign and Elaine. We've got the folks we've got Jacob from the retirement plan. Jacob's over there. Wayne Hansen from Mid-Oregon Federal Credit Union. You'll hear about that one a little bit later. The human resources table is over there. And they'll be there to answer your fill-in questions. And then Kate Thomas from AFLAC is over there, which is your voluntary program. We're going to go through and we're going to give you a brief description this morning of what the benefits package is for the year upcoming. And then at 10 o'clock we're going to take a break, and we want you to go over there and visit with those folks and get your individual questions. So, I've got 2 kids and one needs this special vision program. Would you cover that? You just go over there and you talk to the folks and find out whatever is your individual situation. So we'll hold questions during the presentations. All your questions get answered at the end on a one-on-one basis, okay? All right, so with that, I'm going to turn it over, I think, to Elaine. You're going to start, Elaine? Okay. Elaine Samuelson, HR Director Extraordinary. Please welcome her.
Hold this really close. Can you hear me? Okay. This is I've been here for 10 years. This is the best benefits meeting ever because it's like Christmas in June, totally, okay? So, that's just my opinion. At the end, I'm going to ask you your opinion, okay? So, we're going to start out with the insurances. I'm going to stand here so I can stand. Okay, first of all, we have representatives from our insurance companies, so I'm going to pass the mic. They'll introduce themselves, who they are, and what they can do for you. Okay, so here you go.
Hi, good morning. I'm Beth Harrison. I'm with USI Insurance, so we're the brokers for NeighborImpact, so we help put this packet together for you and the benefits.
Hi, I am Bridget Quest. I'm with HealthNet. I'm your account manager, so I work with Elaine and Beth throughout the year with any questions or concerns you may have about your health plan.
Good morning, I am Tammy Castle. I am with Pacific Source Health Plans here in the Bend office, and we do your dental plan.
Okay, so we also have a life insurance representative that will be here later on at 10 o'clock. His name is George. I've not met him yet. So the first thing I want you to do, this is going to be interactive. You're going to need to be taking papers in and out. I would first start with getting this out in front of you. Okay. USI, our insurance broker, this is Beth's company, helped us put together a benefits booklet that is absolutely unique to NeighborImpact. And which is very cool, because now we can tell you when you email us, what do we na-na-na-na-na, or how do we yada yada, we'll say, well, if you just turn to page 19, or whatever, we'll refer you to this book. We'll probably can cut and paste like we usually do when we answer questions, but this is going to be very cool. So I'm going to run through changes this year. Most of them are additions, and they all really are better than last year because of the survey that Scott ran and listened to and then chased after all of our benefits vendors and said, what can we do to answer this question? So quickly, medical. Your medical provider is HealthNet. So don't get confused, it used to be Pacific Source in the past. I know these things change every year, but it's still HealthNet. It was last year, it is this year. So we still have our base plan that we pay for 100% if you're an employee. We still have that second tier plan, we call it the Plus Plan, and Beth.
Okay, we are on page 8 for the base plan and page 9 for the base plus plan.
So those really aren't new, but if you move over to page 10. Oh, yeah, tell them.
So they're not new, but they are improved. Last year, the out-of-pocket maximum on both of those plans, well, the first one was $6,350. We've lowered that to $5,600. So we've lowered your worst case catastrophic situational dollar amount. Same thing with the base plus. It was $6,000 catastrophic cap. It's now $5,600.
So what that means is that when you hit everything goes against the deductible except for your co-pays at the doctor and the pharmacy. Actually, they go into the deductible, don't they? Now.
Co-pays go to the out-of-pocket.
Out of pocket, yeah. Okay. So then, but when you hit that deductible level, whichever plan you're on, then you go into this, what I call the 80-20 zone. It's called co-insurance. There are descriptions about these sorts of things in this booklet in the front. But I just wanted you to know that's the co-insurance zone. When you have hit your level in the co-insurance zone, you're in what I call the free zone. And that's the maximum out-of-pocket zone. So once you hit that free zone, it just keeps going.
Well, it's paid at 100%.
Paid at 100%, not even more 80-20. So you reach deductible, then you go into the 80-20. 80-20 means that you pay 20%, the insurance company pays 80%. Then when you hit that maximum, you're free for, so if you're catastrophically ill, that's a very good thing. But hopefully you never get in the free zone. Oh, here I did, actually, but I'm still here. So, so sometimes it happens, we just go through peaks and valleys. So now I'm gonna move over to the dental plan. Oh, wait a minute. Third tier of the medical plan, you asked for this. Question was, page 10. The request was, I'd even pay more per month if I could just get that deductible lowered. Right? So.
Okay, so on the premium buy-up, so the word buy-up means you're paying more for the plan itself, so out of your paycheck. But what we've done is we've lowered that deductible to $1,500 per person with a maximum of $3,000 for family. That out-of-pocket maximum, so the catastrophic cap, is $4,500. So a good $1,000 less than the other plans. We've also waived the deductible on your lab and x-ray if they're in the diagnostic category. So as long as it's not the more expensive CT, MRI, PET scans, those you'll still have to pay the deductible. But if it's a normal x-ray or some laboratory tests, you don't have to pay that deductible at all. You just pay 20% co-insurance. Also, if you go to the emergency room, instead of having to meet that deductible first, you have a $150 copay plus 20% of the rest of the bill. Okay, so no deductible. Now, if you do get admitted from the emergency room to the hospital, they will waive that $150 copay. So emergency room is improved, same as diagnostic lab and x-ray. There is one more improvement that is actually on all three plans, and that's with your alternative care. You can now go out of network on the alternative care. We were having concerns and questions about not enough participating providers in the HealthNet network. So now you're going to be able to go to out of network providers. Okay?
No longer just choosing from 2 massage therapists in Central Oregon.
Elaine, is that on all plans or just the buy-up?
All three. All the alternative care is all three plans.
Okay, now we're going to jump over to pages 12 and 13. That's the dental. This is very cool. Okay, so first thing to know is that there are two plans this year. There's a Plan A and a Plan B. Plan A is basically what we have this year. The premiums have gone up slightly, so if you're in family coverage, it's going to be a little bit more. Yes, and Kathy, would you make sure that all the tables have pens? Thanks. So Plan A is the existing plan. Plan B is a greatly improved quality of a plan, but it has a shorter dentist list. It's better benefits though, shorter dentist list. And also, we now have orthodontia. And that also is in Plan B. So if you want your family to be in Plan B, you need to move yourself to Plan B as well. And that's going to be forms over at the HR table you're going to want to go and get. And then Beth is going to mention, there is a typo in this book on page, on 12 and 13 for the family coverage. She's going to talk about that in a second.
Okay, so if you look at the bottom of page 12, you did not get a rate decrease on your family rate. I wish that were true. However, it says $59.91 if you add family. That should be $89.91. So our apologies for the typo and you getting excited about a rate decrease for family. That's on both pages because page 13 says $59.91 and should say $89.91. Also would like to point out on your Plan A, your existing plan, you can go to any provider. On your Plan B, you cannot. You must go to an in-network provider. And that list, as Elaine said, is short. So this is kind of like a managed dental plan. If you don't go to an in-network provider on that, specifically on that plan, you have no benefit at all. So don't just go to Plan B because you want to pay $150 for a crown. I mean, that's a great reason, but you have to go to the doctors that are on the list. And we have the list over at Kathy's table at the HR table. I just want to be very clear. Don't go to Plan B if you're in love with your dentist and they are not on that panel. And like Elaine said, your entire family has to go to Plan B. If you can't have one person on A and another person on B, you enroll in one plan or the other. Did I answer your questions? Yeah, what are your questions?
Okay, so now we're going to jump over to life. Go back to page 11. Okay, so formerly we had our vision benefit embedded within our medical plan with HealthNet. We have spun that off now to be its own separate plan. And here are some of the improvements to that. First of all, I want you to all know if you're an employee that gets this benefit, we will in HR just automatically roll you into this new company. It's called VSP. So you don't have to fill out a form for you. However, here's the cool thing about vision now. You know how you just really wanted vision for your family, but you couldn't pay that gigantic medical premium to get the whole medical policy? Now, like dental, you can have vision for your family. So that's the cool thing. Forms are over at the HR table. Drop in if you want to do that. And there's a greatly expanded eye doctor list. That was a problem last year. So we have more doctors. Kathy will have a list of those providers if you want to see if your doctor's on there. And then I'm going to go to life.
George is here. George.
Come on. George, come on up. We all want to meet you. Okay, that's on page 14. I want to tell you some cool things about life. First of all, I want George to introduce himself.
Hi, my name is George Sherwood. Thank you for having me here. I represent US Able in the life as well as the voluntary life insurance, and I'll be telling you more later.
Okay, this is the very cool thing about life this year, and we've not been able to do this before. We are opening enrollment in life insurance on our group policy. It's like nearly unheard of. We are so excited about this. Because the way it typically works is that when you start, you sign up for your benefits, and we give you a $20,000 life insurance policy for term life. We add $20,000 for accidental death and dismemberment, and let me tell you about the difference between those two. Because we just figured this out today. The HR group, my staff said, I don't really get how that works. $20,000 for AD&D and $20,000 for life, is that $40,000? And how's that work? So Beth helped us investigate, and here's the way it works. I'm just going to give you some examples, and I apologize if this sounds morbid because you can't really talk about life insurance without talking about death. So if you die, not in an accident, but if you die, your beneficiaries get $20,000 if you're an employee. This premium is paid 100% by NeighborImpact, by the way. If you, and this is the dismemberment part, if you lose a limb, you will receive up to $20,000 while you're still living. And if you die in an accident, you're going to get your beneficiaries are going to get $40,000. So I told my staff, if I keel over at my desk from a heart attack, just hurry up and get me into a wrecked car. So this is what the open enrollment in life means. When you begin at NeighborImpact, or pretty much any company, you get a chance to jump into the group voluntary life. Now, you've heard about our base life plan, we pay that premium, etc. But you also get an opportunity to get into to an incremental life policy over and above the $20,000. And this is just my take on it. George might have a different one, but this is my take on it. If you get into the voluntary product at the minimum level, which is $10,000, then at any point in time through your tenure at NeighborImpact, you will be able to, during open enrollment, which is always June to July 1st, to start July 1st, you will be able to get to increase that $10,000. If you're not in the voluntary product, you don't get that chance. Now, I gotta get morbid again here, because it's life insurance. May 1st, you find out that you've got 6 months to live. And you have a $10,000 voluntary product at NeighborImpact. And so on July 1st, you increase that to up to $300,000. And then you leave us in September, and your family gets $300,000, your beneficiaries. And a $10,000 voluntary life policy is peanuts, even for me, and I'm old. So the younger you are, by the way, the cheaper it is. I mean, it's truly per month about a third of the cost of a McDonald's meal, seriously. So that's why I like the voluntary product, to get in there. And then you can also add your family. And you don't have medical exams for that $300,000. You just get in because you're part of our group, see? So if you're really, really sick, you can get life insurance, and you can't get that on the open market. Your spouse can get up to 130? Yeah, your spouse can get up to 130 without having, 30,000.
So you can buy a house and buy up to 300,000.
Yeah. So your spouse can buy up to $30,000, or you can through employee from your deductions, up to 30 without any medical exam, and they can go up to 130, 300. Wow. I don't have a spouse, I never pay attention to this benefit. But up to $300,000 with a medical exam, and some of you people that are young and virile and athletic and disease-free, it's a pretty good deal. And once you're in, by the way. So even if you get sick after that, you're in. Okay, so,
One comment on that, with the annual open enrollment where you can increase your amount as long as you bought it when it was first offered, the maximum you can increase to is up to $120,000 for an employee or $30,000 for a spouse, so up to the guaranteed issue amounts. So if you're going to want more than that, you will have to go through evidence that you're insurable. Also, George here is offering a brand new open enrollment period for all of you. So if you didn't buy this when you were first eligible, you didn't get in at least the $10,000 level, you can do it now without completing the medical forms. So, really good idea for everyone. It would cost, as Elaine said, peanuts to buy $10,000 worth of coverage on yourself. And then you guarantee the ability to increase it every open enrollment up to $120,000 for you. Okay, does that make sense? Then I expect to see everybody at the HR table afterwards.
And this is the form that is in your white packet. If you are benefits eligible, which is 30 hours and over, there are 2 people in this room that are 25 to 29 hours, and you know who you are, and you know how it works for you, so I'm not going to spend all this time on that part. But this is the one that you would fill out. The third page are the rates. Kind of works like a roadmap grid. But when you want to fill this out, take this over to George. He'll review that you filled out the form correctly and then turn it into HR. Okay? And by the way, this starts July 1, so the opportunity, the window closes on June 30th. If you're not in by June 30th and have this signed paper into HR, it will probably be a really long time before you can do this again. You can also use this form if you're already in the voluntary product to increase today, if you want. And you can also pull out if you want. Okay? So, the last thing we're going to talk about is the HRA FSA. And what I'm going to talk about are people that understand what an HRA and an FSA is, because we're going to use the month of August to communicate these plans. But here's a preview and something you know if you are in those plans now, which if you're benefited, everybody's in the HRA plan. First of all, the HRA claims deadline was to be June 30th, and it was use it or lose it. We've extended that to August 31st. So if you have not used your HRA, and everybody gets that $300 a year from last July, or if you started mid-year, it's $25 a month through June 30th, you need to take a look at that. You need to go spend it, okay? Works just like a flex spending, okay? The new thing is that the new year, this new benefits year, HRA and FSA will run during the same period. We used to have a start date of 7/1 for the HRA. Now we have 9/1 for the HRA, 9/1 for the FSA. The other good news is that, and by the way, August is open enrollment. You'll get information via the snail mail, home email, and work email. Pay attention to it. On September 1, we are changing administrators. We had been using Pacific Source as our administrator of both our HRA and our FSA. That's going to change to a company called Health Equity. So there'll be, but every year for these plans, you have to fill out new paperwork anyway. So this year you're going to be filling out paperwork for Health Equity. Okay? And those of you that want to roll over $500 from your existing flex spending plan, there is no rollover for the HRA. Those of you that want to roll money over, you can roll up to $500. We will be transferring that money from Pacific Source to Health Equity. You will not have access to it until January, because they have to move the money and they have to finish up all the claims. You do have, after August 31st, 90 days to process claims on your last year's flex spending. Okay? So please stop by the HR table if you don't understand any of those things I just said.
Okay, a couple more comments on that. Some of the reasons we moved to Health Equity from Pacific Source Administrators is Health Equity works hand in hand with Health Net, your medical provider. So Health Net will be providing a claims feed to Health Equity on a regular basis. What does that mean to you? That means if you use your debit card to pay an expense and know how you have to follow up with the documentation to show that it was a valid expense, if it was a Health Net expense, a medical expense, Health Net's gonna certify that expense for you. So you won't have to certify those expenses that will run through Health Net. That'll be automatic. Some other nice features about the HRA are that you're going to be able to go online and process all your claims, and if you want to, you can have them pay the provider directly, as opposed to sending you the money and then you pay the provider. We're going to do additional training on this. We may do it through PowerPoint that we send out, but we'll give you additional training before September 1st when this goes into effect, so don't worry too much about it. But the one thing we changed that was because you wanted it is we're going to have the HRA pay first and the FSA pay second. What that means, because HRA is now really your use it or lose it plan, and FSA, because of the $500 rollover, isn't really a use it or lose it plan. So we really want you to get access to the HRA first. So September 1st, you'll be able to access those new funds. You'll spend those first, then you'll start accessing your FSA funds automatically. And that way, if you have any FSA left over, up to $500 can roll into the next year. Okay?
That expansion. Also, in the new Health Equity Administrator Program, you will be required to have a Benny card. I don't know what they call theirs, but you know, the debit card that goes along with this plan, or automatic deposit into your checking account, either one. If you ask for a check, they will charge you $2. Welcome to the world of electronic business. So, okay, that's it. Oh, one more.
Okay, one more benefit through USI as your brokers is we have an organization called the Benefit Resource Center. If you'll turn to page 25, you'll see a page called NeighborImpact Sources of Assistance. That's where you'll find the contacts for us, the people who have supported you here, as well as at the very top, the Benefit Resource Center. This is a call center staffed out of our Seattle office, and they will take your calls, help you with your claims questions, help you decide which plan may be right for you, help you deal with any issues such as appeals, processes, I don't understand. They will help you. Now that doesn't mean you can't call Kathy and Elaine and me, but sometimes you want sort of that outside party helping you with your claims. So just feel free to absolutely contact that Benefit Resource Center. They take email, they take text message, they take all kinds of ways to contact them.
One last benefit. Look on the outside of your envelope where your name is. Look in the top right corner. Raise your hand if you know what the EAP or Employee Assistance Program is at NeighborImpact. Great, a lot of you do, but some of you don't. So, what you need to do is turn to the person next to you and ask what that is. Because we pay the premium for you on that program, whether you use it or not. We just do a head count, send a premium. So let's get our money's worth and use it if you need it, okay? Thanks.